Hey guys, it's RagingRaptor here, and I welcome you to, I kind of think, a little bit of a personal video. Or maybe even a video which tries to undermine, not undermine, just to strengthen things or opinions I have at the moment. And it's about the best replay of the week, episode 82. I do have to point out, I really do like those videos. They are incredible well made, and I would love to be able to do them like they do. Like, legit. They are absolutely amazing. Luke has an amazing voice. I'm pretty sure he's British, and yeah, he has a good voice. And yeah, even like, just so you know, it is not 100% perfect, but just using so many keyframes to make this look smooth is a bitch to do. Like, again, I have a high loving. No, not loving. No, I was on a reputation. Damn, I forgot the word again. Whatever. I really think that they do a great job with those videos, and they are pleasing to watch and they are fun to watch. But on this particular episode, I saw several things, or at least one thing which was incredibly impressive, to me at least. First of all, those videos were those games were either played in a same tier game, being top tier in 357, or being in a 5-10 matchmaking, which this one right here is. And I do want to point out that, yeah, my points at the moment is that 357 matchmaking is bad. It's bad for every reason for the lower tier people. Like, it is hard for a lower tiered or for the low tier people to actually be impactful in the game. Because, and if you, I highly suggest to you to watch this best replay of the week by yourself, so you can simply watch it and totally get what I mean. And again, I do not want to say that any of those replays are bad. I even think amazing, especially the seal guy right here, the first replay. He shows how legit you can play the game. Be aware of your ammunition type and don't spam 24/7 gold to make a good gameplay. Like, this is all I want to say right now. But what I notice is that from 5 games, and this is my first points, 4 were without arty. And you are now asking, what is the point then, Raging? Well, my point is the freaking artillery is destroying the game, or at least the fun in the game. And again, just quickly to what I said about premium shell usage. First, he used HE to penetrate the lower plate of the Procede, which was actually really lucky, but also really well done because the Procede has weak armor. Second, he here now has loaded heat, but he is also preloading afterwards AP because he certainly is not going to be able to shoot at the Stritzwagen anymore, which once again is actually pretty impressive. That's, again, the replay is really well played. But again, in this replay, he is in a 5-10 matchmaking, he's in a 5-10 matchmaking, meaning there are only tier 9 opponents against him, maximum. Which once again is, in my opinion, a really good matchmaking. Because it just feels a lot better, in my opinion. Second, in this game, he had no artillery. Yes, Mountain Pass might be a map where artillery doesn't really matter that much, especially in the positions he is in right now. But when he was down here and up here, artillery could theoretically have been able to hit him. And when it is like usual with like 3 artilleries per game, this can be a bitch to deal with, especially when you are a scout. Not gonna say he also was a little bit lucky that the Aisha wasn't reloaded, that he is just playing stupidly, going for the ram, killing himself and giving cover against the Rheinmetall. Nevertheless, well played. This was the first replay. The next replay is being by an T43, which is being top tier. And here already comes my second point, that being low tier you have very little impact. There are some dumb plays in there, don't get me wrong, like the Churchill, which is driving up on the hill. This is a dumb play. You should not do that. But this is like already one of the first things. This guy is just plain simply too slow because most likely he is a stock tank. And he is right now, luckily, in quotation marks, being mid-tier. Yet he has very little impact because he is a bottom tier. Here you might say, but Raging, look, he is dealing so much damage to the best replay of the week contestant. Well, he made 2 shots and that's about it. And when you can see he's trading for 180 against 140 HP and is reloading faster, so this guy has no clue. Yes, he is out of position, yet it just leaves a sour taste. And you will see what I mean afterwards in the other game, where we have an Object 268 version 4. Here, he's going for the hill. I totally agree. This is a great move. But again, look at that. Do you see the team constellation? There's no artillery. Hence why he could easily go on the hill. And he was able to more or less freely farm damage from up here without getting butt raped by some artillery cunts. Especially on tier 6 where the M44 is still hero and king and everything. Like, in this replay it just shows perfectly that without artillery, you can theoretically camp more, but players usually don't do. They go for advantageous positions, like here, going onto the hill, get a 2 or 1 kill for free. So you might say as an argument then, but Raging, well, how do we get rid of those tanks without artillery? He's being up there, he's not being able to get shot at, blah blah bloop. So yeah, with artillery he couldn't go up there and he wouldn't have made that good of a game. But exactly that is my point. With artillery, many games are just super stale because you have to actively camp to not being spotted or being in open field. Like here, he tried to play, he tried to be up and trade that HP to get this tier 7 tank out of the game. Yet he didn't. He couldn't have done that when there was artillery. He would have been dead by now, especially with 94 HP, because he would simply be getting splashed away. Like, yeah, this is again one of my points, that artillery in this game are just plain yuck. Can't say it differently. Again, here I just want to skip through it because those are just dumb plays by those people. Like, he even says it in the replay, and I totally agree on that. Here, he is just really lucky. I'm not saying anything against it. I would have raged when I would have been the Panther M10, but hey, it's RagingRaptor. What do you expect? I have my name for a reason. Nevertheless, he really played that well, but he couldn't have played that if he wouldn't have been top tier, nor if there would have been arty. He could have played it the same if he would have been top tier, but with arty. But with arty, I'm 100% sure this wouldn't have been the best replay of the week. Because artillery would have simply splashed him out 5 minutes ago. So yeah, I personally think artillery shouldn't be that much in the game. Next replay is by Smoon VFL, I think. And he is a German guy. He's from Rumble, from a German clan in the EU server, and he's playing the Object 268 version 4 in a 357 top tier game. And make a guess again, there is no artillery, which is legit in that game. Probably the only thing which really can counter Object 268 version 4 frontally. So basically he has free reign. He has free reign because he can ruffle stomp the tier 8s. He can most likely ruffle stomp the tier 9s. And the tier 10, well, if the Object 268 version 4 is not playing aggressive, then he is good to go as well. And we can already see it in the beginning. Like, he's taking an aggressive position, which is amazingly played by him. This is like a great idea because he is top tier. I always tend to say, if you're top tier, play aggressive. But, okay, this IS3 is a bad example. He's just yulling forward because, I don't know, he probably says fuck 357 matchmaking, which, again, I can honestly relate to that. But you can see he bounces already so much with losing little HP because it's an Object 268 version 4. Plus he is being top tier in a 357 matchmaking with no artillery. Going in aggressively is again not a bad idea. It might be not the best idea right here because, well, as you can see, he's surrounded. But I want to skip a little bit forward to more or less the end of the game. Once again, he can only get penetrated when he's actually showing his side. Even people trying to go for the weak spots, which are tier 8s, at least, they don't really fare that well. I have to search the VK shot, which he bounced. Like, he's going for the cupola. I think the VK hit here, I'm not entirely sure. It looked like he hit the cupola of the object, but he was not shooting gold, so what do you expect? He's not going to penetrate, obviously, because that's how it is. You can't penetrate an Object 268 version 4 when you are tier 8 with when you're not shooting gold. Yeah, that's basically it. Next up, I don't know what happened here, like just see people suiciding, and he's getting some more damage like in the end. And lastly, and this is like probably the funniest and the most saddest thing if you think about it. Here, the object 140 is, it looks like still shooting APCR from the bouncing. So now we can see he is shooting heat. Why do we exactly see that he's shooting heat? You can see it by this particle effect. Let me see. There we go. This particle effect shows that it was a heat shell. That's like just in the game. So lastly, in the end, how Mr. Small dies is because he got defeated by heat, by gold ammunition, which was necessary to take him down after all. And I think this is like the only shell which actually penetrated him frontally, except when he was showing his lower plate like an idiot. But that's also what Luke said in the end. He traded really bad there. Nevertheless, because he was top tier, he could just have a wreck havoc with no artillery to stop him. Yeah, 357 is a really fun matchmaking, isn't it? Next up, we have Sir Alex in a Progetto. And once again, it's a 5-10 matchmaking, which again, I think is a great matchmaking. It's not bad. Because you have 5 tier 9s. You can argue that tier 9s are poker tier 10s. And they can be really strong. Something like the Amex M451 are impressively strong. The Object 263 is also really strong. But overall, they're not as bad as, well, you know, actual tier 10s. Because they're even... Are they 3 5s? Yeah, no, they're the same amount of tier 9s as in that matchmaking, but those 3 tier 10s can, as you could see, really screw over one day. And once again, there is no artillery. Why is that crucial on Himmelsdorf, you might asking? Quite simply, artillery can splash him there when he's peeking upwards. If the artillery is even standing down here, no problem, he can actually shoot at him. And they can even splash him from the K line, depending on what artillery it is. Currently, you see a lot of M40s and GW Tiger Ps on tier 8. And on tier 9, we even have arties like the M453, which is considered to be the best artillery in the game. Again, in such position, he could have been artillery, but there is no artillery. Nevertheless, this was a great D-tracking shot by him, and I'm giving props to him for that. It's just, I don't know, artillery, in my personal experience, just makes games so much worse. And he couldn't have won that hill, basically, if there was artillery. Maybe he could have when their artillery was not bad, but he couldn't have won. And in the end, how they played it out was really well made and really good played, so yeah, I'm not going to say anything more about that. And lastly, we have a replay from Senor Davi, and in his tier 100 light tank. So it's a little bit old replay because there we have still tier 10s on this map, and it's tier 10 only game. And again, he played that well. The enemies played it rather poorly for letting him to get up there so easily. Like, legit, he goes first here to try to get some spots before going up into his main position when you look at the video. Which is, again, impressive how stupid the enemy team was, if you want to say it like that. In this game, we have 1 artillery piece per round or per team, which I personally think is totally fine. 1 artillery piece is okay. 2 are annoying, and 3 is a straight up dumb. You can see the Conqueror gun carrier of their team just splashed 2 people here with no problem. And meanwhile, our Senor Davi gets here some perfect spotting damage. And I do want to point out, seriously, fuck the current spotting mechanism. I don't know what happened, but with 1.0, with the addition of so many more bushes and more trees, you do not know what bush you actually get spotted in and what not. Because look at that. He shoots while the T100 is driving out. And I'm rewatching it now several times, that this bush like here, or this tree like right here, made him vanish, made him behind the 50-meter rule. Which is straight up bullshit, like, come on. It's actually ridiculous. And he's doing it here the same. I do not understand how this right here is enough to cover him up to not being spotted when one of the few ports are up here. But this is something I want to discuss in another game. I just want to quickly skip over the last game because, again, he played it well. His team also played it well. But one interesting thing about this gameplay was, if you go into the endgame screen, again, perfectly played, we skipped it obviously, the highest damage, or the second highest damage of their team did the artillery piece. Like, come on, really? And it's not like the enemy artillery didn't do a lot of damage either. He did more than the Batcher, which was quite long alive. So, yeah. Overall, my points are nothing against how these videos are edited. They are amazingly edited. They put a lot of effort in it. They have a great script. And they are trying to play around with things. Don't get me wrong. I love what they are doing. Yet, I just have a sour taste on my tongue when I'm seeing that 4 out of 5 games were played without artillery. Which is, once again, just kind of showing my point that artillery is kind of not good for game health. In the game where we had 1 artillery, it did the second most damage of their team. Like, okay, I guess. Then, 5-10 matchmaking is just so much better for lower tiered opponents than it is than 357 is. You could see, in 357, the Object 268 version 4 just went rampage. The same for the T43, because he had superior speed, superior armor, superior DPM. The VK had no chance. Probably also had a bad crew. And lastly, in here, well, it's just the artillery. I don't know. Yeah, it's just a sour taste to me to see that great games are being played without artillery in a 5-10 matchmaking or in a solo tier matchmaking. Yeah. Or just 357 people which are stomping on their tier 5 opponents or their lower tier opponents. That's just my personal opinion. You can agree, you can disagree. I don't know. It's your personal opinion. I just wanted to finally make a point, or make my point public, that I do not like the 357 matchmaking, that it's obnoxious, bad for the game, that I don't like that there are 3 artilleries in the game. Those are 2 main points I wanted to talk about today in this video. And the 1 point about the bushes, which I want to address in a different video. I do hope that they're going to change that. Who knows? We will see. Thank you so much for your attention. Have a great Black Friday. And have a great weekend now. Bye-bye.